Okay. So, I want to document my journey. And whatever the outcome is, um, I'm hoping that one day somebody will upload this to YouTube, because I know I probably won't. Um, and I hope that it'll help somebody. Um, I would start to be at the beginning, but I'll do that another day because I'm outside, as you see. I'm at Sharon Woods with my husband while he fish. And I found out I had cancer May 19th. However, I knew the possibility was great of cancer. Oh, first fish, first fish. Let me show you. First fish. Is that a bluegill, babe?
Yes, ma'am.
That's the bluegill. That's my husband. I don't care what nobody say about my husband. It's so many people in the world wish they had a him. But anyway, let me show you. We're out here. However, as you see, I got on a t-shirt and a sweater. I'm cold. Today is the 18th or the 19th. Today is June 18th. Today was the best day out of the last 3. If I be honestly speaking, the last 2 days was like really bad. I don't know, I just felt like giving up. But, I had a heart attack 3 years ago. And they didn't think I would make it through that, and I did. And so I start feeling, how dare I give up on the God that keeps pulling me through? So I can't give up, I can't quit. And then how do you do that anyway? Like, what, commit suicide? Is that how people give up? Because that's not an option. But you can't ask for forgiveness for that, Like, that's like the ultimate sin to me. So that's not an option for me whatsoever. Plus, you know what? I have always tried to be the best example of a mother, a woman, a aunt, a friend, a wife, a cousin. So, to let the world see me as a quitter or a coward, yeah, that don't work for me. I strive too hard to do the right thing all the time. To just give up, People beat cancer all the time. Will I beat it? I don't know. But I'm going to fight every step of the way. And I'm going to cry every step of the way. So, anyway, this morning, I woke up. My husband woke me up about 5 something this morning. And we started watching TV. I don't even know what it was called, but it was really good. And then he fixed us some sausage and pancakes. But unfortunately, I don't know if it was the syrup that was too sweet or if the sausage. But I ate 2 bites of my pancakes. And I ate 1 bite of my sausage. And when I bit into the sausage, instantly I felt like I needed to regurgitate. So that was breakfast. And then because, I left work early yesterday and I kind of felt bad about it because it's how I am, my work ethics. I logged on and did some work for quite a few hours. I think I worked like 4 hours, 4.5 hours. And I realized I haven't had any pain today. I've had a lot of nauseousness because my husband was like, babe, you got to eat something. So he goes and get me a sub, a deli sub, deli Italian sub from Mr. Heroes. And it made me sick. I only took one bite of that. Well, no, take it back. I took 2 bites. So I took one bite, instantly felt nauseous. So I was like, forget it. Waited about a half an hour, 45 minutes, took another bite, and had to spit it in the trash. So now, I don't know what time it is. I think it's after 5 o'clock. Hell, it might be after 6 o'clock. And all I've eaten today that I actually let go all the way down and went into my stomach was 2 small bites of pancakes and 1 bite of a sub. Because the sausage, once I got it in my mouth, I had to spit it out. So that was a no-go. So, I know I'm going to do another video that's going to supposedly be video number 1. And I've been feeling the need to document this. I don't know why, but for like the last maybe 2 weeks. But I didn't want nobody to think I was weird, you know? Like, why is she doing that? Like, who would do that? But then, you know, you never know what might help somebody else. And that's why I chose to do it. Because I've been through a whole lot in these 53 years that I've been on this earth. In the last 10 years, I've had about, I don't know, I had my appendix out. I had partial thyroid out. My gallbladder out. I had 4 heart attacks in 7 days. A leg amputation. Huh? They had to amputate my leg when I had the heart attack. And now I got cancer. I just had the heart attack, literally, just 3 years ago. Let me tell you how God worked. So, because this happened approximately every 2 years to me, right? It always happened around my birthday. When they took out my thyroid, it was March the 22nd. Mind you, my birthday is March the 24th. When they took out my gallbladder, it was March 19th. When they took out my appendix, it was April the 5th. When I had my heart attack, it was April the 15th. And I would have found out I had cancer a lot sooner had I went to the doctor. But when I had the heart attack, I had this conversation with God. Like, you know, God, this keep happening about every 2 years. So we all had this conversation like, you're not going to let this happen to me in 2 years. Yeah, he didn't let nothing happen to me in 2 years. It happened in 3. You know, sometimes, I don't know if God has a sense of humor, but I want to imagine that he does. I don't know why I'm going through all of this. I ain't gonna cry about it today, because you know why? I promised myself I wasn't gonna shed not one single tear because I wasn't in pain, and I feel good today. Like, I really feel good. So I'm not gonna shed not one single tear today. I don't know what God's plans is, but what I do know is that I trust him and I have faith in him. And whatever the outcome is, it's for a reason. Now, sometimes we got to realize and understand that the reason might not be self-serving to us. It could be to help somebody else out. It could be somebody else that is dealing with something. And I think maybe that's why I decided to do this, because what if somebody else is going through this and really is down and just feel like giving up, you know? I just want people to know you should always have faith in God and have hope. I realized a couple of weeks ago I was crying, I prayed about it, and I kept saying, well, what are you crying for? Like, what's the worst possible thing? Let's just say, if you die, what's the worst possible thing about that?
Recording?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm still recording. I see it. I think my husband really didn't want to hear this part of the conversation.
That's not true.
But that's my rock, and that's my friend. And sometimes I feel like this is so unfair to him. And I'll be honest with you people. I told him he should leave. I think it's unfair. I think it's unfair that he doesn't get to do anything that he want to do because he has to take care of me. And that makes me sad. Oh, he got another fish. There it go. There go another fish. That's not a bluegill, is it?
That's bass.
Yep, I knew it. I'm starting to learn them. After 20 years of us being together, I'm starting to actually bet fish is which. So, anyway, he doesn't keep the fish. He doesn't keep the fish. He catch and release. He do it simply for, I guess, the fun of it. I'm not touching no fish. I like to eat them, but I ain't touching that. I come because God's nature is so beautiful. Also, he lets me clear my mind when I come out here with him. Like, I don't care about nothing that's going on. Like, who cares? You know? And this is so relaxing for me. I love it. But anyway, so I was thinking, like, if you do die, like, what's so horrible about that? Especially in the state of the world that we live in. Like, I don't even want to get into all of that right now because it's just crazy to me. But anyhow, and then I realized why did I cry so hard? And I realized there's people other than my husband and my children who genuinely love me, who genuinely depends on my advice, my conversation, my help, and my ear. And I feel saddened and I cry because I don't want those that genuinely love me to be without me. I don't care about dying. I mean, I do. I ain't gonna say I don't. But I look at it like this. The biggest thing about death that scares me, more than anything, is what hell is like. And then I be thinking, you know what? You ain't never been no whack person. You ain't never was no schemer. You ain't never tried to get over on people. You ain't never used people. You always try to do the best. You always try to live right. Yeah. So anybody read this that don't bring your kids up in the church, that's what church do for you. It grounds you in foundation of right and wrong. And I'm not saying that people that be brought up in the church don't do right and wrong. I got sisters and brothers, and I ain't putting their business out there. I got friends. I know a whole bunch of people that do a whole bunch of wrong. Put it like that. And with that being said, I always try to live my life right. But then the Bible teaches us there's no sin, no greater or no worse than the next sin. So then that scares. That kind of gets scary, because I got a foul mouth. I've been working on it. Even when I'm texting or email, like if people see me on Facebook or whatever, and I'll be talking about something, I'll be like, that's effed up or whatever. I actually put EFFED. Like, I won't spell out the word either. Not only am I not saying it, I'm not even spelling it. But at the end of the day, God still knew what I meant. You know what I mean? So is that wrong? It's rough. I tell you this, in the last 3 years, I learned a lot about people, and a lot of people have hurt me and disappointed me. And not with their words, but their lack of words, and their lack of presence, and their lack of action. The crazy part about it, I'm not even going to mention who these people are. Because even though I feel a certain kind of way about them, they still my friends. And one of them I done had for about 40 years now, maybe a little bit more. It's going to always be my sister. But if she knew how bad I feel about her lack of presence. But then you know what? I remind myself when I think about how people ghosted me. I think about the people that's here for me. And when I say that, oh, another fish. Wait a minute, a video. Another fish. That's a bluegill. Hey. Okay. He getting it today. But anyway, I remind myself, my grandmother used to always say this. You come in this world alone and you leave this world alone. Ain't nobody passes going to heaven. Do you know how that resonates with me today? It's like I don't care what nobody else do. You know? I can only worry about me getting to heaven. Me and my husband is night and day. But the one thing we do have in common is my husband is one of the most awesomest men I think that exist. Now, I'm going to be honest too. Probably the next time we go to the doctor, which is next, I think Thursday, we'll get into an argument. And we'll get into an argument simply because we are polar opposites. His birthday is 9/24, mine is 3/24. Exactly 6 months apart. So he's the flip side of me in a lot of cases. And we process things differently. But we always come back together and discuss it after we done cussed each other out. Well, let me be honest. After I cuss him out. He don't really cuss. Sometimes I feel bad when I do that. And then sometimes I'll be like, well, why you just don't understand what I'm going through or what I'm saying, you know? For instance, our last gynecologist appointment. So they go through this whole thing, you know. And so, you know, you sign this paper whenever you have surgery. And it's any surgery. I mean, I've signed that paper every surgery I ever had except for when they chopped off my leg. And that's because I was under. And so my husband had to sign that paper. But every paper tells you anytime you put up under an anesthesiologist, there's a chance that your heart will give out. You'll go into cardiac arrest. With that, and me already having a bad heart, that it only functions at 41%. That was detrimental to me. So you're taking somebody that's already got a weak heart and telling them, hey, even with a good heart, this is a possibility. So first thing goes in my mind, well, what's your possibility when you ain't got a good heart? So when we leave the doctor's office, I'm going to be honest, my husband could have skipped out of there. He was so happy. I was just like, well, what the hell is you so damn happy about? Like, that shit was crazy to me. Excuse my language. I told you, I struggle with that. But anyway. So, we're talking. And he's telling me I should be positive and think positive and feel positive. And so, me, that's like you telling me how I'm supposed to think and feel. You not me. You're not living with this. You're not living with any of this. Yeah, you're taking care of me. But I'm the one that crawls up them steps because I can't get up and walk. I am the one that has phantom pain almost every day of my life. I am the one that has to worry about getting stressed out or getting too mad or having to worry about having a heart attack and dying. And then they want me to sign a paper telling me that, hey, you might die. That's how I'm looking at it, right? And I told him, I said, when I lay on that table and take a chance with my life, if my heart stopped beating, and I die, guess whose heart get to keep beating? His. His heart don't stop when mine stop. Again, as my grandmother said, you come in this world alone, you leave it alone. So, that's how I felt about it, So the next day we talked about it. And so he explained to me the reason why he was so happy is because when we went in there that day, he thought they was going to say, like, you got stage 4 cancer and, you got 6 months to a year to live. And so for me, that doctor visit was horrible. And for him, he saw it the total opposite. Like, yeah, we know what the possibilities is. But at least they ain't tell me you dying now. You know what I mean? So for him, we just saw it differently. And, when we talked about it, I then at that point understood him. And I think he understood me as well. But I do agree with him. I do try to stay in a positive state. However, I'll be honest. Every time I go to the doctors, I get so stressed out. My anxiety gets bad. And it's just crazy, And so we realized going forward that every doctor's appointment, we'll give each other 24 hours to process it. And then we'll come together and talk about it. Babe, is that what we agreed on? Yep, that's what we agreed on. So that way it gives him time to process it the way he needs to, and me time to process it the way I need to. But I remind myself every day. My husband explained to me that my heart was in its worst status when they took off my leg. I think it was either 11 or 14% is what it was working at. So, functioning at rather. And he reminded me when they chopped off my leg, my heart was in the worst state it had ever been in. And even though I still cry from time to time or get upset from time to time, I can honestly say I remind myself that every morning. And every morning it gives me a certain amount of peace. Because, my heart is at 41%. So, I am hopeful. But, at the same time, I still have my bad days. I still have a lot of bad days. But today I felt so good that I was calling people telling them I felt good. I know it's kind of weird, but I only called 3 people really. And that was Deanie. Deanie actually called me. But I told her. I called my friend Kathy and I told her. And I told both of my sons, like, I feel good today. And I'm going to tell you, if I had a leg right now, I would want to go for a walk. I don't want to be pushed. I want to go for a walk. And if we didn't have so much to do when we got home, because I do have a prosthetic. See, the thing with the prosthetic is, though, I have really bad arthritis in my left hip and in my right knee. And I until I can have surgery to get a knee replacement and a hip replacement, the idea of me walking is kind of non-existent. But, we'll put it on in the house and, walk in my dining room. My dining room, we moved It's no longer a dining room. It's where I do my t-shirts and my crafts at. So all the tables are along the wall because I need to, roll up to it because I can't walk. So everything is in a straight line. So therefore there's a straight line, of space in the middle of the floor. And maybe we'll do it tomorrow. Maybe, hey, you think that's an option tomorrow? Putting on a leg and walking down the dining room? Huh? Okay. I mean, I know we got to still go to the grocery store. You still got to cook. So, I don't want to do it today. I know we got too much going on. And it's already, what time is it? I don't know if you're going to pick up your phone and see. 6:45. So, yeah, we'll do it tomorrow. And I'll take a couple of steps. I've been wanting to walk so bad lately. I be having dreams and they be weird. I've been dreaming a lot about when I was a kid. Old places, old things. How vivid my memory is. I have a very vivid memory. However, my earliest memory that I can remember is being in Head Start. And in Head Start, I went to Arlington Street Church of God. That's where I went to Head Start at. And I can't remember, was Dawn Rogers or Shelly Rogers? I think it was Dawn. I think we went there together. But I can't remember if it was her or her sister. I don't know which one the oldest, so. I'm sure whichever one my age. But that's my earliest remembrance. I do remember getting baptized. I think I was 9. I got baptized at Livingstone Apostolic Faith Church on Arlington in Akron. I remember thinking I was going to drown. And I was so scared and I hated it. I remember Sherry Crawford. That's Nawasi and Sharice's mom. I used to love that lady. I thought she was the nicest person on the face of the earth. And I remember when Nawasi and Sharice started school, me and Tonda, we all went to Glover. And me and Tonda would have to go by there and pick them up, and we all walked to school. And if I'm not mistaken, their dad's name was James. Every grade once in a while, he would give us all a ride to school. And me and Tonda, I would always tell Tonda, we ain't allowed to get in the car with nobody. But y'all know Tonda, we got in the, let me tell y'all about something one time. We got those rides, let me just say that. We weren't supposed to stop at nobody else's house, but we would stop over Sally and Susan's. They was 2 redhead white girls, twins. Forgive me for saying white girls, because you know what? I think when you describe somebody, I hate when people describe their color. But they were redheads. How about that? With freckles. And they was twins. Their names was Sally and Susan. Them was Tonda's girls. And we used to stop by there. And I remember their mother would give us breakfast sometimes. And again, I'll be like, oh, we gonna get in trouble. But again, I dare not leave Tonda. First of all, I could never figure out how to get nowhere. I used to, let me tell you, one time I got lost coming home from school. And I was a little weirdo, I guess, back then. And so I would remember, and I still do this to this day, I remember how to get around by north, east, south, and west, and landmarks. So this house got painted over the summer, but that was my landmark. The house was yellow. The house was no longer yellow. So it kind of messed me up. So I keep on walking and just nothing looked familiar. Not even my own house. So I stop at this lady's house, and I knock on the door, and I was crying, and I told her I was lost. And I was in kindergarten because Tonda was in school all day. And because she's 8 months older than me, and her birthday is in August, and my birthday is in March, I had to wait a year. So When I was in half-a-day kindergarten, Tonda was already in all-day first grade. So I had to walk home by myself. And I used to use this landmark or whatever. And anyway, the house got painted. Maybe it got painted over spring break or something. I just know the house got painted one day and I couldn't find my way home. So, I stopped at this old lady's house across the street. And I stopped at her house because she had cats on her porch. And I thought only old people had cats. I didn't grow up with any animals. So, I know I was scared of dogs, but I wasn't scared of cats. I was scared of cats, but I used to think I could kick a cat and I wouldn't have to worry about it. But, you know, with a dog, that was a little different for me. So, anywho, I stop at this lady's house. I tell her I'm lost. She asked me for my... She didn't even ask me for my phone number. She called my grandmother. She knew who I was. My grandmother was so mad. When I tell y'all I was across the street from her, it wasn't directly across the street. Like, our house sit here, but we had all this land over here, right? And her house was across the street from our land. But the land was, like, right next door. You know, kind of like how your mom's property is, Nikki. So, imagine, not the house directly across the street from your mom, but the one next to it. So, that's how it was. My grandmother was so mad at me. But my grandmother did call up to the school. And Miss Reed, like, she understood that my grandmother was taking care of me and Tonda, this, that, and the third. So, after that happened, I was allowed to go to school. I had to go to all-day kindergarten, but there was no such thing. So, but I still went to kindergarten the first half and the second half. So that way I could walk home with Tonda when she got out of school. Let me tell y'all, Tonda done had a boyfriend all our damn life. I cannot remember her not having a boyfriend. But let's not talk about Tonda's boyfriends. Let me tell y'all one time. It was this guy. I don't know his name. I want to say his name was Thomas. But he was in my class. And, like, that was my friend, you know. Like, my friend. I mean, I think I was in the first grade. Okay. So I had to ask my grandmother, could my friend come over and play in the yard? And she said, who? I said, my boyfriend. I got my ass whooped for that. You ain't got no boyfriend. I was always sticking my foot in my mouth because I was always trying to do the right thing. For real. He could have came over. We could have played in the yard, swung on the swing set and everything else. She would have never probably even knew it. Mama was old. Mama was real old. But I tell you, we ain't have a whole lot. But Mama did the best she could. And I thank her for it. I thank Aunt Honey for what she did.
Came off.
To be totally honest, Aunt Honey, Jelene Banks, Cheryl, and my kid's grandmother, Aletha. If it wasn't for them women, who knows where I would be at. Huh? Oh, we ready to go? Alright, well, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. It's for 33 minutes. I might get back on here later, and I may not. But for now, toodaloo.